35th District Representative Drew MacEwen. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, Jeff. How are we today?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. A little brisk this morning. Holy cow.
I tell you what, this and then the rain that's coming in the next couple of days, we are in for it. You're in here today as you're running for re-election in the 35th District. How's the race going?
It's going very well. We're continuing just to talk with voters and hear the concerns and work on solutions, and it's been a very positive, energetic, but yet draining. It goes on for a while, but ballots are actually already out. Our military and overseas have begun voting, and with two sons in the Marine Corps, it gives me a unique perspective. And chasing their ballots down, I've gotten gotten them to mail back, and each of them have people in their units that are actually from this district as well.
Wow.
So it's it's kind of fun to make some of those calls, like, hey, have you mailed it back yet?
You mail your ballots.
And then of course you get a lot of questions on some of the local issues that they're maybe not in tune to, but so get to answer a lot of that. But so the balloting's underway, and then the rest of us, we get ours. They get mailed out next week. So, while November 8th is the day, so to speak, our election day is really a 2.5-week process, and it begins next week, and the dynamics of the campaign shifts, and I look forward to that, and bringing this all to a conclusion here.
Mm-hmm. So by the 21st, you should have your ballots in for that weekend, and Karen Hurd, the Mason County Auditor, suggests that if you don't have them by the 27th, make sure you call in and get it. What are some of the things you're hearing from voters? Is there a lot of, I don't want to get too much into the national election race, but are you hearing a lot from the people out there, the constituents, on what's going on? Why is it so crazy? Things like that?
No, it's been this district, as you know, especially this county. I mean, we're pretty independent minded, and I myself too. I mean, I'm tired. I'm certainly politically interested for obvious reasons on a number of levels, but even I watch sports and listen to sports now, and I think a lot of people have just tuned out to some of the other things that are going on out there, and I've been running for this district and representing this district, and that's the focus of my race, and it's going to continue to be. And I've sure if I had people ask me, yes, but it's not
coming up.
The biggest issue that continues to be spoken with voters, and justifiably so, is K12 education.
Sure.
The Cleary decision, and how are we going to do that next year? And I look forward. I'm working on a reform bill that hope to have introduced before session starts, to do some comprehensive reforms on K12 education, and really reinvigorating the way we do education in the state. And as one example, we don't have enough time to go through how do you reform K12 when it's been in error for 35 years. But I think we just really need to relook at how we treat high school and graduation and diplomas. And we're very focused on the number of credits in a given subject. So just as an example to illustrate where I'm going with this, let's as a state, I think we have the right to say, here's what you need to do to get a diploma in the state of Washington, and then we need to get out of the way and let districts go do it. But let's just take math, for example, and let's say, okay, you have to get through Algebra 2. As a state, or as parents or teachers, do we really care if a student accomplishes that in their sophomore year or their senior year? You know what? Because you're going to have some kids, it's going to take them 4 years to do that, and they're that are going to be struggling. You're going to have other ones that are going to excel. They're going to get it done right away. They're going to take the pre-calc and have a ball time with that,
and move into math in their future endeavors.
And you got a huge chunk in the middle that are probably more in the 3-year process. But let's look at having requirements that you have to achieve and not test it. We either trust the curriculum or we don't. We have way too many tests, and in doing that, it allows our students then to be able to explore other fields. Some are going to be very focused on the math and the sciences. Others are going to be more into the arts. Others are going to be into the career and technical education fields. And we need to allow that. I think we have squashed in this country, by large, innovation by both teachers and students by being so focused on a testing pattern. And that's not education.
Yeah.
And so that's what my hope is with this bill. And then, and then that helps us to also determine what is really the funding amount. And when you look at the lower grades, just going to throw out a number here. This is not done or vetted yet, but let's say that we're going to say that the ideal class size is 15 students to one teacher. Well, now we can go and figure out how many teachers is that, and as a state, let's say we're gonna set an average salary. And you do the math, multiply it out, boom, there's what the funding is for that. Districts that can still collectively bargain how they want to spend that money with their teachers and how, what that pay scale should be. But we haven't really done that as a state, and it's one of the issues that we continue to have. And even the Supreme Court Justice Owens in the hearing that was done a few weeks ago alluded to that we've failed to, we as a state have collectively failed to really narrow that down And so that's what I hope to accomplish in that reform bill, and I look forward to continuing to work on that.
The 35th district is a pretty big ranging district with different types of economies. So when you hear from someone in one part of the 35th and the range of priorities is a certain way, and then down and in a different part of the 35th, if it's a different set of priorities which perhaps are in conflict with each other, how do you work towards getting those two sides together?
Yeah, that's it's sitting down. I'm a big believer in finding the common ground and working from there first. Well, if we start there, we can get things accomplished. And it is a very diverse district. In Thurston County and Southern Mason County, you have a large number of state employees. I'm proud to have their endorsement in this election. They've got obviously they have huge concerns with what's the impact budget wise on their jobs, and that's obviously first and foremost on their minds. Obviously, education is with everybody as well. And as you progress in the Mason County, we've got the the shellfish industry, the timber industry. Yeah. Huge issues there that transcend a multitude of things from environment to regulations and taxes. It's a huge economic base for this county, and balancing that out. And then as you progress north and into Kitsap, we have a large number of shipyard workers, military people, and transportation's an ongoing issue. Housing, especially in the Kitsap area, another carrier being relocated to Homeport in Bremerton, and so in the Kitsap area is a huge housing crunch, and so it's sometimes what is needed in one end of the district isn't in the other, and so it's focusing on that, and but I'm a big believer too that one Washington, and having consistent taxes and regulations that make sense, that are effective, and allowing things to grow is a huge part of that, and just kind of getting government out of the way. I mean, yes, I'm not suggesting that we scrap environmental regulation. That's not at all what I'm saying, but things need to be consistent and understandable, and so I'm a big advocate for that. And again, it's bringing people together and working across the aisle, and it's not always Democrat, Republican. Sometimes it's those local issues that don't necessarily have a party label, but where do we agree? Let's start there, and we'll just start to chip away at the block. And when we get all that done, then we can arm wrestle over the some of the issues that we're not agreeing on.
You have been very busy. Last night you were at the League of Women Voters Forum debate. Tonight you're going to be in Thurston County. You have our forum coming up Thursday, and the chambers next week. You're getting a lot of support. You're seeing a lot of folks out there with Drew MacEwen buttons and signs.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I'm humbled. I don't get the crowd to show up necessarily at these, because there's so many of them, and a lot of people have been to them over the course of the last few months. But the energy is always enthusiastic, and the support that I've gotten across this district from when I was first elected in 2012, it's very humbling, and that people have. Selected you to represent them, and that's very gratifying. And I'm not one to go and pound signs into the right of way. The right of way can't vote. Yeah. When people call and say, "Hey, I'd like one for my yard," that's a humbling thing, and I give it to them. So it's it always cracks me up when you see the number of signs, and both sides do it. I choose not to.
There's a huge one right in Shelton. Yeah. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I choose not to participate in the right-of-way vote getting because there's no vote to have there. But when people call you up and say, "Hey, I want one in my yard," that's a loud statement.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Drew MacEwen, I do appreciate you coming on. We'll see you Thursday night, 35th District Representative. One more thing, regardless of the outcome of the presidential, what do you think of the turnout? What the turnout's going to be this year for voters?
This is a crazy.
You think people are just going to vote? You got to vote. You never know. Yeah. Every vote counts.
Every model is out the window on this year, and really for both sides. And I think while the presidential race will still have the majority of votes, I think we talk about the drop off on down ballot, and as you go down a ballot, people have a tendency not to vote on the other races. I don't think we're going to see that as much. I think the presidential race is going to have a lot of drop off. It'll still be the highest vote getting, but I think you're going to see a lot more on some of the local and even state issues than we normally would. But
protest vote against both candidates for president, but know that it's important to vote for your local leader.
Yeah, and it is, and stick with it.
Very cool. Drew MacEwen, thank you so much for coming in. Good to talk with you as always. And Drew is going to be out at the Union Punkin' Chunkin' event at the end of this month with also U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer. So that'll be a fun event.
Absolutely, I'm going to challenge Derek Kilmer. We should each get catapulted and let's see how far each of us go. I think that'd be fun to do.
Well, now the gauntlet has been tossed for sure. It's 8:21. Thank you, Drew.